This is a download from BFM 89.9, the business station.
Open for Business on BFM 89.9.
Hey, this is Arvind Yuvaraj, and it's all about homegrown solid colognes on today's Open for Business. And joining me to talk about their line of colognes are Alwis Xavier and Nigel Alwis, co-founders of the aptly named Alwis and Xavier. Now, obviously, Nigel and Kimberly are joining us via the phone, and you're going to be hearing a lot of these like over-the-phone interviews from now on until the movement control order lifts and things get better all around the world. Hopefully that happens soon. But yeah, enough about that. Guys, tell us a bit about Alwis and Xavier, like the uniqueness of your products. It kind of relies on it being portable and a solid cologne. And so there's no liquid involved. It works like a balm, and that's easy to rub on. So is that the gap in the market that you were trying to address? The need for portable colognes? Was that the problem you identified?
Yes, actually it was a problem that both of us actually had. So both of us are avid perfume and cologne lovers. But I think based on, them not being very travel-free, being quite fragile in terms of being made of glass, in terms of the portability aspect, they were slightly larger, that you could keep them in the car or you would, spray them at home. Mm-hmm. So we actually decided to come up with, another alternative that was smaller, a bit more travel-friendly, one that you could actually apply on the go. Yeah, and that's what we felt was, these in a balm form, in a small tin form that you could slip in your pocket, in your handbag, or in your, let's say, for example, gym bag. And that was something that we felt that there was a gap in the market, and we actually wanted to address that.
How did you know that there would be a market for something like this? Because, it is an issue that you guys had, or you guys felt that you had, but how did you know that there would be demand for a product like this, or that the market needed a more portable form of cologne?
It actually started out as a pet project for both of us. Mm-hmm. We started making them and actually using them for ourselves. Once we actually introduced them to friends and family for their feedback, we actually got a lot of good reception. So apart from it just being something that we felt that we needed, outside reception also was quite positive. Plus, it's something that overseas markets is starting to actually take on. And we saw that in markets like the US, in Australia, and we didn't see that much in Malaysia. So that's why we decided to take that convenience and bring it over to the local market.
And from there, because we are such lovers of perfume, we decided to kind of create something more portable and in a balm form that is more natural, does not contain as much chemicals and whatnot. So we decided on having no alcohol formula. And also we use natural ingredients such as beeswax and almond oil.
Shea butter, vitamin E oil. So, how we also saw trends in the market where people are going towards, products which are less chemically based. So, and then a higher growth in the zero waste communities that appreciate healthier ingredients in their products. So we decided, so that was another reason why we actually look to use these natural ingredients, which are non-irritating to the skin, and as Kimberly mentioned, non-alcoholic, which also does pertain to the Malay market.
Yeah, so we have actually a few people who've come up to us and asked if it's Muslim-friendly, can they pray with it on? So that's one of the benefits, especially for people traveling. Mm-hmm. If they have to do their daily prayers and whatnot, they don't have to wash it off. So that's one of the benefits as well.
I noticed that you guys are both from the creative industry and from advertising, and it kind of shows in your sleeve designs. Like I can tell a lot of work went into the graphic design work. Was it tough deciding on what the sleeves should look like? Like, did you always want to go like rustic, old school with the art, or did you have like something else in mind?
In terms of how do I call it R&D, both with the formulations, with the design, with the names and whatnot, it was quite a long process. Yes, we are both in the creative industry, but we are both more so dealing with clients. But I think a bit of the experience, working with creative teams, production teams, did give us an eye for the creative eye. It did take a lot of deliberation. It did take a lot of rounds of, back and forth between both of us on the design. It didn't actually start off. We didn't actually look at something rustic at first. We were playing around with different types of layouts, different formats, different styles, and ultimately based on the back and forth, we actually that's how we basically came up to this, which I think we're both quite happy with.
Tell me a bit about the process. Like how did that happen though? Because you were in the creative industry. You saw an opportunity to sort of close a gap in the market, and you embarked on making colognes. But cologne making isn't like a skill that people just have, right? I mean, you need to learn how it's done first. You need to sort of pick up the skill somewhere else. So did you learn how to mix bases and scents after that, or was it something that you did before as a hobby?
No, actually, it was very new to us. As I said, it started off as an interest. We saw certain products like these in other markets. And then from there, we decided, hey, this is kind of a cool form. It really does pertain to people like us who, like to smell good everywhere and anywhere we go. And then from there, we did a lot of research. We watched a lot of videos. We looked at a lot of recipes. It did take a lot of time to actually formulate the perfect recipe, if you want to call it, in terms of the portions of ingredients, the types of ingredients that go in. There was a lot of R&D involved. That took around, let's say, give or take a year, and that was with us working full time also. Yeah, so we worked on that for a year. We got all the formulations down, and that was basically done from a lot of research online, of vlogs and forums and whatnot. Yeah.
So basically self-taught.
Yes, correct.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So we started off creating our own hand making everything, and to this day, we still handcraft. We still formulate everything ourselves and hand pour everything personally.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah.
That is interesting. You mentioned that you were, doing this side by side while working full time. Are you guys still working full time?
Yes, we actually are working full time at the moment. I'm still in a digital agency. So this is something we do basically almost every day. After work, on the weekends, it never truly stops. But when it is something that we're quite passionate about, I think it doesn't feel as time consuming as it is.
So it's a side hustle.
Pretty much, yeah.
Is it tough though, like juggling both jobs, because you are passionate about working on the product, but both of these things sort of need your full attention. So how do you guys do it? Like how do you balance the two?
Yeah. So apart from working full time, I actually dedicated a bit of time off from my 9 to 5 or 9 to 10 p.m. So I recently just stopped working to dedicate a bit more time on the business, to look at different markets that we can get into, different products we can develop, different larger extension of the current product range. So yes, it was very time consuming. We'd find ourselves, finishing late every day or on the weekends, and then straight away coming to create and make all these solid colognes. It was tiring, but I guess I think with every new business, there's a lot of sacrifice that has to to come into it, and then we recognized that, and we just moved forward and plowed through it.
It's the startup life.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. Kimberly and Nigel will still be on the line when we get back after this short break. You're listening to Open for Business, BFM 89.9.
Burning for more. BFM 89.9, the business station.
And we're back on Open for Business. I'm Arvin Yuvraj, and joining me on the line within the comfort of social distancing are Kimberly Xavier and Nigel Alwis, the people behind the line of solid colognes called Alwis and Xavier. A passion project. It's a passion project. It's a homegrown business that leverages on online commerce and retail. Another thing that I noticed on your website especially is that the designs of your cologne sleeves and even your choice of pictures on your website and your Instagram feed, they're all very gender neutral. So you can't tell if the products or certain flavors or certain scents are more male or female centric. Was that something that was done on purpose? Are the scents supposed to be gender neutral?
Yes, so what we actually realized when we first started out, we did a lot of on-ground activations, a lot of bazaars, and we initially designated certain scents would be more women-friendly, certain scents would be more men-friendly. But what we realized was we get both genders buying both of the scents, all of our scents. So we realized it's very subjective.
Mm-hmm.
So from there on, it was kind of a learning, and we decided not to classify any scent as specifically men or women. And so we basically make any scent that we really, really feel that we like personally. And from that, we see that it's basically anyone can use our scents.
Yeah, so our scents, we don't really look at a scent as, okay, this is going to be for males specifically or females.
Mm-hmm.
We come up with scents that could appeal to both. And rightly so, when we do release it to the market, we do see both genders buying each cologne. We don't have a particular gender purchasing more. We do have some who are more inclined to certain scents,
Mm-hmm.
but with scent, it's so subjective. You have some people who, like men who probably like something a bit more floral, for example, or women who like muskier types of scents. So, yeah, we don't classify. In terms of also the design, we keep it quite neutral, so it can apply to both.
There is this interview that you guys did with the Edge Options, in which you spoke about testing new combinations of smells and scents. And Nigel, you said that your nephew would run in and smell the stuff and either go like, ew, or that smells nice, which got me thinking about how you gauge what smells good and what doesn't. So, because scent is such a subjective thing,
Right.
and you have to figure out what works for the market and what you have, right? So can you tell us about that? Like how do you guys choose your fragrances, or how do you guys choose what is good to put on shelves, I guess?
Being avid lovers of perfumes, how we gauge is we actually looked at coming up with certain perfumes or solid colognes with scents applicable for certain occasions. So we do have a range of scents that cover, let's say your daytime scents, which are fresher, a bit more citrusy. We do have night scents, which are slightly deeper. We do have woody scents, also muskier ones for, that cooler night, night situations going out. So we do try to come up with a range. We have a range of 8 at the moment that we feel cover each and every situation, from the lighter scents to the deeper scents to muskier to woody to fresh and citrusy. So, as we mentioned before, scents are very subjective, and people and what we did was we wanted to come up with a scent that applied to the different types of scent profiles that people would like.
Has there ever been something that you felt smelled good, but the customers didn't feel the same way? Because how do you handle feedback like that? How do you handle constructive criticism or feedback with your products?
Yeah. So normally when we have bazaars, we do bring out the samples of the new products that we have. We do get people's opinions. We do ask around and get some qualitative research at least. And then we do also have surveys in which people can fill in on which scent that they prefer. And based on that, we come up with a new scent.
I want to touch on perception of the product a bit because, just sticking with the marketing stuff for a bit, one of the biggest selling points of colognes and perfumes is the prestige of it, or the packaging of the prestige of it. People like to gift it. People like the way it looks. It's nice in a glass bottle or a nice box. There's a sort of class and classiness to it. But you guys have sort of positioned Alwis and Xavier to be more urban, to be more youthful, more casual. Does that take away, or do you think that takes away like a significant market of people who would buy colognes from you? Because again, you come from the creative industry. You know that by putting this in a fancy bottle or fancy box with a bigger price tag, you could attract a whole other segment. So why do it this way?
I think our product fits in a whole new category. Yes, our direct competition are the spray bottles. But I think we do offer a lot more advantages than your typical spray colognes in terms of ingredients used, in terms of long-lastingness, in terms of portability, in terms of also the price point. So, your normal colognes would go for, let's say, 200, 300 ringgit. A lot of people don't have that type of expendable income to purchase something, or to purchase a cologne or a spray cologne that they like, or to purchase a range of spray colognes. So what we wanted to do was introduce a product that had all these benefits that we're offering at a lower price point. So let's say the trial, or the barriers to trial were low. So everyone could actually get their hands on one, try it for themselves, and then see for themselves the benefits that it offered. It's more accessible to a lot more people in terms of the price point, and a lot of people are actually carrying it around in their bag. What we actually do is have friends who actually come back to us and tell them that they were in Indonesia, they were in Bali, and they were on a boat somewhere, and then someone took out one of our colognes and was using it. So, by making it accessible and at a lower price point, you see a lot of people, let's say the uptake of it is quite high, and we've actually had a lot of positive feedback, and the turnover also is something that we're quite happy with.
Okay, because that was going to be my follow-up question, because, obviously the fragrance and the scent market is crowded with a lot of big players. So, how are you competing? How are you standing out? How are you carving out your niche, basically?
So there are a big group of people who feel exactly the same as we do in terms of, let's say, the portability aspect, the fragility aspect. For example, your standard 100 ml, 200 ml bottles, you can only leave it in the car. You can spray it at home, and then that scent will last you the whole day. If you bring it in a gym bag, we've had a lot of customers complain that their bottles have broken in their gym bag and soaked the whole bag and everything in it. So we do have a lot of feedback from people who actually email us and thank us for coming up with certain products like this, and the advantages that it has brought them, that they've never seen anything like this in the market, and it has really made life a lot easier for them. So I think there is a niche, but hopefully with a constant exposure and through platforms like BFM, we can get people trying it, being more aware of it, and hopefully more people realizing how it actually trumps your conventional perfumes.
Okay, we need to take another quick break, but we'll be back with more from Nigel and Kimberly, founders of Alwis and Xavier, BFM 89.9.
Business, finance, and music. BFM 89.9.
Open for Business on BFM 89.9. I'm Arvin Yuvraj, joined on the line by Nigel Alwis and Kimberly Xavier, founders of the Alwis and Xavier colognes. I wanted to ask about testing out the colognes as well, because one of the biggest aspects of picking out a good cologne is being able to test it out first, or being able to see what it smells like. But Alwis and Xavier is mostly online, I'm guessing, so no testing available from that front. You guys do have quite a few point of sales in a few places, but is that a downside? Is that a problem? The fact that potential customers cannot test out the cologne first if they don't come to one of your booths at the bazaars?
I don't think it's an issue. I think, as you mentioned, this product is something that people like to touch and feel and smell for themselves. Just because not only do people have their own, scent profiles that they like, people actually want to touch and feel the product because it's somewhat like a balm or wax-based product. In terms of accessibility, we do partner up with a lot of stores, whether it's department stores, independent stores, where we do display a full range of colognes, and we do provide fresh samples for people to actually try out. So we do have stores, in the Klang Valley area, from KL to PJ, to JB to Penang. So we did realize that, this might be a bit of a hindrance, and that's why we partnered with a range of stores across, Malaysia, Singapore. We have quite a lot of stores there. We moved into Brunei, we moved into Philippines, and we're looking to get into the US. And that's basically our mindset, which is partner up with a lot of stores so people have the accessibility to try and smell them out themselves.
I think our online customer base, they are more of our repeat customers, whereas we're seeing our new customers from the actual stores on ground. Because it is a scent-based product, a lot of people want to, even though it's gender neutral, people are still quite, I would say, picky about what they wear on their skin. So they do like to come in, test a few of our scents, walk around and come back. And so we get a lot of new customers there. Whereas online, we see much, much more repeat customers, actually. So that's why what's really essential in us building this brand is actually getting into more and more stores locally and overseas as well, because I think that's how we get the word out there. And when people see the physical product, they're quite curious about it. A lot of times people see it and they think it's a lighter or it's a candle or something, and so it's part of educating people as well, which we're lucky to work with a lot of good stores who are good at explaining this, and ourselves as well at bazaars. We like to do this a lot every now and then. So I think brick and mortar really does work for us, and I think in the initial stages, it's really something that we had to do quite a fair bit.
I think initially what we did was, when we were very new, anyone who, let's say we were a month old or 2 months old, we actually would get inquiries through our Instagram, through our Facebook page, or through the website, and we would actually meet each and every person who actually wanted to smell the colognes. So that was quite taxing for us, and that's why we looked into your brick and mortar stores.
I see. So there's a nice balance between the two, like one sort of informs the other.
Correct.
Yeah.
But what we see is a lot of pickup recently with online sales. Getting orders, 5 orders, 10 orders a day. But that is recently, over the last few months, we've seen a high uptake of online orders.
But it's also not only through your website, because you've partnered with other e-commerce platforms and providers as well. You've put your products on certain other websites as well, right?
We do have a lot of online companies that do ask us if we want to partner up with them and place our products on their website. So we have partnered with a few.
But I think mainly most of our sales come directly from our website. But we do place them on other sites such as Shopee and whatnot. But I think majority of people still come to our own website.
Yeah.
Okay. Couple of more questions, guys. challenges? Like, what challenges are you guys facing at the moment with Alwis and Xavier?
If you're talking about current challenges in the market, I would talk about the coronavirus.
Yeah, I think people are hesitant to pick up their cologne and smell it.
Based on the markets that we're in, you see a significant drop in footfall to malls, to stores in general. So I think as a result, you do see a drop in terms of the volume. More people, and maybe that is why, let's say, the website orders are increasing more and more, is possibly people are going out less but purchasing online more.
They feel like the online sort of channel solves their problem. They don't have to step out of the house, yeah?
Correct, yeah.
Okay, I think a good way to sort of cap the interview or finish the interview would be to talk about expansion. Like what is next? Obviously, like you mentioned, this whole coronavirus thing is a roadblock, and no one would have expected it. But beyond that, hopefully once this settles, what are your expansion plans? Like what do you have planned for Alwis and Xavier?
I think besides going into more markets besides Malaysia, what we are hoping to do is actually go into different types of products. So our base is obviously we like solid items that are portable. Solid items that are portable as well as natural. So these are things that we're actually working on at the moment.
So we are looking at products that come in a solid form. That's the whole premise of, the differentiator that we feel that we have over a lot of other companies or a lot of other products. So we are looking at expanding not only the range of solid colognes that we have, but also looking into different type of products that come in a solid form. We are currently working on a few things right now, which we'll probably announce probably around half year or shortly after that. Apart from that, what we are doing is we're also expanding our global presence. We are going into newer countries. We are currently working on a few deals with certain distributors, certain agents that, as I mentioned before, look into, for example, markets like the US, which is quite a new one for us, Japan, Taiwan, Philippines. So it is a lot of work. It's a lot of back and forth. It's a lot of negotiation, but we're quite confident in entering these markets, and we've had a lot of good feedback with people from those countries who have tested it out, given it out to people from those specific countries. So those are the expansion plans this year. I think that's basically it.
Yep.
Guys, thanks so much for doing this slightly different interview in a very weird time.
Definitely. Our pleasure.
Thanks for reaching out, Arvin.
Right, that was Kimberly Xavier and Nigel Alwis, founders of Alwis and Xavier Colognes, talking about the business of making, selling, and expanding their product line. This interview is also available via podcast on the BFM website, which is bfm.my, or the BFM app, which you can get for free on the Apple App Store and on Google Play. Alternatively, you can find us on Spotify. We are parked under their podcast section. This has been Arvin Yuvraj on Open for Business, BFM 89.9.
You've been listening to Open for Business on BFM 89.9.
Thank you for listening to this podcast. To find more great interviews, go to bfm.my or find us on iTunes. BFM 89.9, the business station.